I don't know what I did to make these people so mad. Sometimes you just have to laugh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing really.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island Games Season 2, Episode 15. Let's get right into the video. So as you know, Nicola and Kendall got sent home in the last episode by a duel. Nicola, she was medical evacuated, obviously because of the weighted ball getting hit to her head. And obviously Kendall lost the duel to Josh. With that being said, it was just like, you know, everybody had to get ready for the night. And, you know, Garbi, you know, she's like going through it, but like, she's basically, you know, not gonna let that affect her. Like, you know, she had her moment, but now she's like, okay, she's gonna be locked in on game mode. So she's kind of like sad that Kendall's not there, like, because obviously he was like her #1 supporter there. And especially since, like, you know, we have the Beige Brigade basically running things. You know, she's been in 2 duels now. She kind of is like feeling vulnerable. It's just kind of like, okay, you know, where do we go from here? But she knows exactly like, okay, this is just like a competition now. Like, she doesn't have a connection anymore, but so now she just has to really lock in and focus. So earlier, you know, we have, you know, everybody speaking. I think Josh, he was very upset with Isaiah because he's like, him and Isaiah were cool. Like, they know each other before the show. So he was like, we're cool, we're good. Like, what was that? Because basically at the benches, he basically said that he's rocking with the Beige Brigade. And it's just like, you going against Josh, your friend, for the Beige Brigade, knowing good and well you're on the bottom of that totem pole. You're not, you're on the bottom. Toby and Tyreek know each other from time. Johnny, he's stronger than you. So that's why you're only being kept safe for a layup. That's it. So he told him that. He's just like, wow, you don't even have my back. And then he's saying like how, oh, Toby and Johnny, like, you know, their actions, you know, speak louder and keeping him safe, so he's gonna rock with them. And he's like, oh, he hasn't been included in conversations with you know, Josh and I guess Chris and, you know, Kendall or whatever. He hasn't, which I'm like, I don't think that's true, because like Josh like saying like am I trying to couple up with you? Like, oh, I don't have to speak to you every day to know where we stand. Like, you know where we stand, but like now that you choosing them over him, that's crazy. So, you know, obviously that's how it went. You know, Josh laid into him and he kind of ate Isaiah up, because you picking the Beige Brigade for what? Like, come on, yo. I thought it was USA Strong, but you let in Tyreek and Johnny basically run things, because Toby, he doesn't really have much of a say, but he's very much obviously tight with Tyreek, so they run the things there.
Only thing I can do is just continue to win, and we need to get power couple, because Tyreek thinks he's like just skating to a final, not having done anything this entire season. I'm gonna throw him in a duel right before the final against Toby, and they're not gonna know what the fuck to do, and they're gonna cry.
Later on, we have Lucinda basically, you know, trying to comfort Garbi and whatnot, and you know, Garbi, she's just like, yeah, it's a game now. So she's like, I'm keeping my cards close to my chest, da da da. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you anything.
Well, obviously I'm not gonna tell you that. Like, you're on the other team. Oh, stop it! Did you? Yes, you are. I'm not gonna. Hey, you actually tell me. No, I'm not. At the end of the day, the game started. Fuck, I'm scared of you now. Yeah, no, you should be.
And I'm like, yes, clock it, Garbi, because Lucinda basically was in the dressing room with the girls and then came downstairs to tell Isaiah what the girls were saying. Like, hello? This is just like regular girl chat about what happened to Andrea, Andrina, and I think Justine at the time, and she come running to Isaiah about what happened. Like, oh, my friends, like, I don't think it's like deep. Like, girl, I don't feel like Lucinda knows that she's playing a game. She's like talking about, oh, it shouldn't get too far, Like, they're playing a game. 250 is on the line. They're playing a game. Like, why is she acting like this is Friend Island? Like, it's not. They're playing a game, 250 on the line. Like, why is she so shocked when people make game moves? Like, so basically after the whole, you know, situation, Johnny then, he basically talks to Josh. Josh, and like, he's basically telling Josh, like, you know, basically Tyreek and Toby are basically running things, and you know, he's only basically their guard dog. Like, that's it. So he's telling Josh, because I feel like he's putting the olive branch out. Like, he knows he's running with the Beige Brigade, but he's realizing, like, okay, he's the odd man out. You know, two people who know each other from time since they were kids is not going to go against Johnny, of all people, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, he's trying to basically, you know, put an olive branch out for Josh, telling Josh, like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of like their guard dog. They're just kind of using me, you know, until we get to the end. I don't know if they're going to make sure all three of us get to the end or whatever. So he's talking to Josh, and he's saying, like, you know, they're like putting these strong competitors against each other because they're trying to take the strong competitors out. Which, I mean, that is a game plan to do so. That's why they've been doing that. That's why they did the clue with the situation. Is that early in the episode, is that Johnny, he talking about, oh, let's the Power Squad have a little meetup. And the fact that Andrea was on that side, that one, he basically excluded Andrea out for, like, do you know how weird that is? Like, Andrea was on the winning side and you exclude Andrea out. But then Tyreek, he's basically telling you guys, well, Justine's with us, even though she was on the losing side. Oh, Justine's with us. Like, she's with me. She's on the Power Squad. Like, she's gonna roll with us. So I'm just like, you basically took Andrea out, who helped you win, to add in a Justine who lost because Tyreek said so. Like, that's crazy. And Andrea couldn't even have to say, because Andrea could have easily been like, okay, Josh is with me, add on Josh to the group. But you know, Tyreek basically has more of the say so in that group, that Beige Brigade. So obviously got Justine in because she's rolling with Tyreek. So that's the couples, Garbi, Johnny, you know, Tyreek and Justine, and then Toby and Sydney. So then there we have this conversation about, like, okay, well, is Sydney really a competitor? Like, you know, Toby and Sydney, you know, I don't think it's gonna really like level up compared to a Johnny and Garbi. So it's just like, okay, Toby needs to find another, you know, partner. So they go to sleep and everything, and it's just like, you know, we got Casey single, Garbi single, everybody else, you know, they together. Wake up in the morning, you know, get ready. Garbi's just like, you know, she's here to win. She's here to play. So next thing you know, Toby decides to pull Garbi for a chat because it was just like, okay, operation find a new partner, because I don't think Sydney's gonna like help him win. Pull Garbi for a chat, tells Garbi like, hey, you single, you know, I don't think I can couple up speed with Sydney because it's just like, she said that she was here to slay, blah blah blah. Is she really gonna pull her weight? Like, I'm trying to like, you know, maximize, like, you know, this, you're a strong person, you've won deals and whatever. I mean, Garbi, she told him off. She's like, you just gave me the Judas kiss and sent me in, got her partner sent home, you know, as a part of that as well, and now you want me to couple up with you and trust you and going forward and basically do her friend Sydney dirty. Like, what? He like, that's crazy. But he told her this and everything. So then, you know, shortly after, Garbi done has a conversation with, you know, Casey. Tells Casey the tea, because I feel like Casey's still kind of like not clued into like what the dynamic is going on. Tells Casey the tea. Basically, it was like, okay, confirm we're both single. Are we gonna couple up together? He said yes. And obviously, basically, it's a coupling up to like kind of avenge Kendall, blah blah blah. Obviously, he's Kendall's best friend or good friend, whatever. And then she obviously was in a couple with him, and you know, he got done dirty. So basically, like a revenge situation that's going on, because obviously the Power Squad put them in the predicament that they're in. So, you know, she told the T about the whole Sydney situation. They found a little crack, the weakness in their side. So she's like, I'm going to tell Sydney this later on, because he obviously, let's stir the pot. You know, they messed up with their game. She's going to mess up with their game. Get a text that's going to be Vegas night. You know, things are going to be happening. They're going to get ready for the night. So before everybody gets ready, everything, Sydney, you know, and Garbi have a chat. Because Garbi pulls her. Garbi basically says, you know, Toby asked me, basically had a chat with me, basically said that like, you're not really putting your weight. He doesn't really have confidence in you basically to win this game. And like, he basically suggested that we should couple up together.
I need to let you know that Toby pulled me for a chat, and he said that, oh, like, now we're nearing the end. I don't know if Sydney's gonna perform in the challenges and the duels. She's all about serving, but I just don't think that she'll do good.
I think he took the whole serving looks thing a little too far. I'm here for the games.
He's like, you know, I feel like you should start thinking about who you're gonna couple up with, and I basically would like to couple up with you. And obviously you're my girl, and I would never do that. So I just wanted to let you know, watch out.
I don't want to couple with him anymore.
Don't make any rash decisions.
Okay, I don't want to talk anymore because I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry. He doesn't deserve your tears.
It was just like, you know, Sydney was basically out on, you know, out of the loop. So, you know, she gives her the heads up because obviously she's like, I was not going to do that to you because you're my good friend in here, like, you know, what it is. So she gives Sydney the heads up. Sydney just like, you know, she's kind of over it. She was going to cry about it, but, you know, Garbi had her, like, make sure that, like, you're cool. Come to find out, it's Vegas nights. They're all in chairs. Go sit at the chair. And what happens is that they're going to have, you know, their final recoupling. So you basically sit by who you want to couple up with. So Garbi and Casey already know they're going to couple up together. But Toby think he's slick. He trying to give Garbi a hug and be like, hey, Garbi, la da da. But Garbi already knows, like, he's trying to be slick. So tell me why the most secondhand embarrassment scene that has you witnessed. Case, you know, what's it called? Toby decides to try to be slick, sits in the chair that's supposed to be coupled up with Garbi. Garbi's like, no, we're not doing this right now. Get out of this chair. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And it was just like Casey and Toby fighting over a chair to be coupled up with Garbi. It was crazy.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? No, fuck off! It's hitting the fan.
We sitting next to the girl we want.
You're joking. 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 Stop. Give me my chair back. Toby. Tobias, get the fuck off the chair. What the fuck is actually wrong with you? Chill out.
And it's just like, you know, real crazy because just like he's trying to like basically make this deal, like, you know, to cement his, like, you know, game to move forward and possibly win with Garbi. But it's just like you're making yourself a fool because Garbi's not going to do that.
Oh.
Damn.
Chill out.
Damn.
This is like, you're crazy. You are absolutely crazy.
Oh my.
See, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
So Toby wants to
So they ran around. It was crazy, wild. Obviously, you know, he had to get out of the chair because Garbi was not having it. She's like, get out the chair, Tobias. Like, full name. She don't even play around. She says, Tobias, get out the chair. And, you know, he had to go sit back down with Sydney. And it was so funny because just like Sydney just kind of like, okay, embarrassed. She's like, I don't even want to be with you because she don't want you. And now I don't want you either. So with that being said, you know, it was very embarrassing for Toby. The whole scene was very much a secondhand embarrassment situation. And obviously you got the text that these couples that they're sitting in is their final couples of the season. So they have this like 3-round, you know, of games Vegas. This game was basically you have 3 chances to like throw them, basically like kind of like game your way to put a ball in somebody's like, you know, on somebody's name, and obviously, you know, basically who you want to make vulnerable. So in the first round, it was Toby and Sydney. And Toby and Sydney, you know, Sydney, she was still upset about the whole situation. She was crying, whatever. So Toby, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go target Casey and Garbi. So with that being said, you know, she was like, no, don't do that because I'm close with Garbi. So that's what she said. So he was like, do you want to change it? And then she was like, oh, I don't care, whatever. So Garbi's looking at like, okay, you had a chance to change it. You had a chance to change it because he asked you point blank, do you want to change it? Anyways, they put the first ball into Garbi and Casey's. And then they put the second 2 balls into Josh and Andreas. But it's just like Garbi's side-eyeing Sydney because it's just like, I just helped you out, made you not, let you be in the loop. I give you the heads up about what's going on with Toby. And you still try to make me and Casey vulnerable for what? Like, and like she's basically, then you have Sydney basically talking about, oh, it was out of my hands with the first round. He said, do you want to change it? But you were so over it to be like, oh, I don't care. Like, so then, you know, the second round, he was like, okay, since you're close with her, change it, da-da-da-da. Next round, okay, Garbi goes first. So Garbi's just like, okay, well, I'm going to target Toby and Sydney then, you know, it is what it is. Sydney basically tried to have a clap back and say, oh, karma, because, you know, the first ball, you know, didn't go in. So, but the other two did. So, but they laughed at, you know, Garbi and Casey for missing the first ball, which is like, okay.
Sorry about that. Karma's a bitch.
Right. So if it's
They had a game plan because Tyreek, Toby, and Johnny were like, okay, who we're gonna like target? They said Josh and Andrea. You know, they were just like the three of them, that's not us. That's what they basically said. But they said Josh and Andrea. So I'm like, it went from Josh and Andrea to immediately Garbi and Casey. You had Lucinda and Isaiah basically voting for Garbi and Casey, you know, which is like crazy work because it's just like, oh, it's just game. I think, you know, which is crazy work. So that was the first round. The first round, you know, basically everybody target Garbi and Casey. Even Justine and Tyreek did so. And then they ended up having the most votes, so they were the first couple vulnerable. So moving into the second and third round, because they were already vulnerable, they can't be vulnerable again. So next round was basically like a shuffleboard situation where they had to like throw, like, you know, basically slide something down, and like if you land on a 2, you get 2 points, 1 point, 3 points. So it's like you get to throw drinks at the couple that you want to make vulnerable. So they got 1 point. So they had, you know, were able to throw, you know, drinks on Toby and Sydney because they were going to keep on taking the same couple each and every way. You know, it is what it is. So they threw it on Toby and Sydney. I think Lucinda later on was like, oh, because she couldn't vote for Garbi and Casey, which is crazy. If that was your person, that's your girl, your friend, why are you saying it to your face? Well, I would definitely pick Garbi and Casey. That's crazy to say. So, I mean, she picked Johnny and Gabby to throw their drinks on. So, at the end of the day, the people who had the most votes were Johnny and Gabby, Toby and Sydney, and Josh and Andrea. And it was just like, they were just getting drenched with the drinks. I think Andrea had the most drinks. So, in second place was, you know, Andrea and Josh with the most drinks. Third round was basically, you know, you have to pick a total of 5 cards. And, you know, if you get the Joker card, you know, obviously forfeit your, you know, votes. So the 5 cards are the total number of votes you can place if you have all numbers or all things that are not Joker. Garbi and Casey went first. So you pick 4 cards, they have 4 votes, and they stayed safe. The next round, Toby and Sydney, they got a Joker, so they didn't have any votes. As well as Johnny and Gabby, they got a Joker, so they don't have any votes. Everybody else got votes. I think Isaiah and Lucinda, they were able to get 5 cards, and they had 5 votes. So Garbi and Casey, they placed all their votes on Toby and Sydney, while Johnny and Gabby placed their votes on Toby and Sydney. While Isaiah and Lucinda, they placed their votes on Gabby and Johnny. Tyreek and Justine, you know, Tyreek for some reason like wanted to make it a toss-up and try to like say like, well, I have to vote for Toby and Sydney now. But like, what the thing is that Justine is like, if you don't want to vote for Toby, you don't have to, just vote for Johnny. So he voted for mostly Johnny and Johnny and Gabby. But he was just like, you know, because you had a Joker and you had a Joker, he explained it to the group. It's a toss-up, and then the toss-up was Johnny and Gabby. But then Toby didn't like that. He was just like, I wouldn't have risked it like that, you know what I'm saying, or make it a toss-up, especially because they know each other for time. Like, they're really good friends. So it was like, you making, like, my life in this game, like a joke or a risk like that. That's crazy. So, but at the end of the day, it was Johnny and Gabby versus, you know, Toby and Sydney with the most votes. It was a tied vote. So with that being said, you know, they had a chance to pick, you know, some more cards. Whoever had the highest number of cards are safe. So Toby and Sydney went first. They picked a 7. They drew a 7. Gabby and Johnny picked a 6, which is crazy how it ended up being 6-7, and 7 beat 6, and therefore Johnny and Gabby were the third vulnerable couple. So Ariana comes into the villa, and she's basically like, okay, well, you know, out of these 3 vulnerable couples, you have a chance to, you know, be safe or immediately go home, because one couple is going home tonight. So you have 2 chances. You can either roll, you know, spin the thing, and whatever lands on which couple that's safe, they have a chance to either save you, or you either save you, or they can choose to dump you. Use this other roulette board, which is like if you put the if you land on white, you go home immediately. If you land on red, you're safe. Johnny and Gabby were like, they're gonna basically test the loyalty and say let the you know, the safe couples, you know, vote to keep them safe. And Andrea were like, oh, we're gonna basically, you know, test the safe couples and see who's face. I'm not gonna do 50-50. Now Garbi and Casey were like, we're gonna do the 50-50 thing. So it left off on a cliffhanger of whether Garbi and Casey are safe, or what does it land on, you know, a white or a red. And it's crazy because that they left it up to chance, because that's crazy.
We're gonna gamble.
Wow.
It's not looking good.
Fuck it. 50-50.
Yeah.
Crazy. But I'm like, if Justine and Tyreek don't care who goes or stays, if Lucinda basically told you to your face that, you know, she would have, if she had the chance to vote for Casey and Garbi, she would. And if Toby and Sydney was getting votes the entire night from Garbi and Casey the entire night, I mean, why would you leave it up to chance for them to save you? Because Toby did Garbi dirty. So I'm like, and especially from Garbi's point of view, if you already let Toby, you know, did that first challenge and put the ball in their thing, then what can say if you can help to save me? So with that being said, you know, they took a chance, left off on a cliffhanger. We don't know if they're safe or not. I really hope Garbi is safe. I really do. I really do. I hope they're not getting sent home over some 50-50 situation. I really hope they don't. But that was the episode. It was very crazy. I feel like Garbi got targeted a lot. Because I think Justin and Tyreek was like, oh, because Casey and Garbi were a newer couple, they're going to target them. But then Garbi just like, if Kendall was still here, they would have still targeted him. So like, what's tea? Like, really, what's tea? Like, don't lie and give me that fake stuff about being a couple. Because who set that system up? Who put us in there? Who made this to be us having no partners and we have to couple up together? Like, who set that system up at all? So with that being said, it's just like, it's a very much a cop-out. But this was episode 15. Very wild. Very, very wild. I very much hope Garbi is safe, because I'm really much rooting for her. I mean, I feel like everybody else in this episode, you know, irritated me. I mean, the only other person that I would like for them to win is Josh and Andrea. No shade, no tea. I mean, if Justine can get that 3-piece, sure, but like, this episode, it wasn't it for her. No shade, but like, I feel like the underdog should be getting the win. Should be getting the dub. But anyways, if you guys like the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, comes concerns, subscribe to my channel, subscribe. Anything you guys watching this video, peace.